Well, this kind of already happened. We got less than 2 million, but we got about a million and some change COVID relief funds, and we had to kind of decide what we were going to do with this. And unfortunately, $1 million and even 2 million doesn't go as far as you think it will in a city, even a city our size. So once you start planning, you realize it doesn't. If you try to stretch it out of a lot of projects, that they'll have to be very small projects. So I was a little disappointed that we decided to do that. We decided to spend the money. It's not exactly what I wanted, on a bunch of different things that are obviously, they are impactful and they're important, and we have a lot of needs in the city. But what I would have done and what I would like to do if we got $2 million is I'd like to make more of a statement with newfound money. I was really, if it were up to me, I would do a signature project, something that was noticeable, something that was impactful, something that improves the community feel of the city, something that brings people, makes people want to gather in the city, makes people want to stick around. I would knock off a couple of things from the Parks and Recreation master list: splash pad, amphitheater, develop Lafayette Park, some of those projects like that would really improve our community spaces and make people want to come down and stick around. Well, I'm not so sure that it's types of businesses as much as it is a mix of businesses that we need. What mix of businesses do we need to get more foot traffic? What do we need to get businesses to stay open longer? But, part of the problem is it's really a chicken and the egg thing, is to attract more people, you need more diverse businesses. But to get more diverse businesses and foot traffic, you need more foot traffic. So, and you need more of both to justify people staying open longer. So I think that our existing businesses are doing a great job, especially in the downtown, really trying to get people down there. But we really need more retail. We need more walkable retail, if that makes sense. More places that you can go and shop when you're waiting for your table at Duovino, or you want to get a glass of wine and walk around downtown and then do a little shopping. So I think we need more of that. We need some men's retail, really. And I'd really like to see, like we had for a very short period of time, as a deli or a specialty food stores that will get people walking around and eating. So really more places to shop, more places to eat and drink. Things that will make people want to stay in South Lyon longer. Well, this might sound funny, but I think the best thing that South Lyon, the community, has done is elect Dan Pelchat 6 years ago. He really brought in needed leadership during a chaotic time, and what he did and what we're doing well now is hiring and keeping some very strong leaders. He hired our city manager, Paul Zelnick. He hired, then they hired Nate Mack, Lisa Deaton. They retained her as a city clerk, our fire chief, Joey Thornton, our police chief, Doug Bakke, and more. Those are leaders that people don't really see, but they're the ones really doing the job. People think a lot about who they're going to vote for city council, and we do some work, but what we're doing well is having, I think, out of the small cities, we have the best leadership that of any city that I've ever heard. They keep us safe. They are moving things forward. I just think that, that's the best thing we have going, and I think they're the ones that are going to help us make a better community for everybody and make it safe and keep it safe. So, we're going to lose Dan here in a little bit, and I'm disappointed, but it's time for him personally, but I think he's really helped build a great community with some good leaders. I think it's really public apathy, but to be fair, it's not a South Lyon specific issue. There's a lot of citizens that are disengaging all over the country. There's like a learned helplessness, feels impossible to make any change or make a difference yourself. But locally is where we can make a difference. And that's where people can make their voice heard. And my kids joke that I'm like Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation, that I always want to hear from residents, even if they're yelling at me. But I'll take someone yelling at me over somebody being apathetic anytime. We had a landscaper come in and yell at us once about how bad the downtown looked, and I didn't even think about it. And then I went down there and I was like, he is totally right. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that we need. We need more involvement. We need more volunteers. We're struggling to get members of boards and commissions, volunteers for events. We're begging people to volunteer for Pumpkin Fest when it has been easier in the past. And even just getting people to speak up and telling us what they see, what they want. You know, one reason that I originally ran for office was to engage our community and to get people to talk to us and to, you know, and to do things. And I don't shy out of conversations. I will give out my email and my phone number in public anytime. And I do that openly when people are upset, and not a lot of people take me up on it. So I'd like to see more people engaged and less apathy in South Lyon.
Ideally, I think the residents of the city should be involved in the decision-making process. Personally, I'd love for there to be a band shell at McCaddy Park. I think it would serve as a nice focal point for outdoor events like concerts and plays, and also attract people from other communities to our city and to our businesses. Along with that, I think we would have to implement another parking lot at McCaddy Park, ideally like on the northeast corner, which could serve for the park and also downtown events like Pumpkin Fest and the Farmers Market. If there's any money left, I would love to see crossing signals at the crosswalk across from Pins and also the rail trail at 11 Mile. The simplest answer is that it's important to attract any suitable business to the community. From a personal standpoint, I'd love there to be more family-friendly entertainment in the community. The farmers market is one of my favorite things to do on Saturdays. All of the events downtown, like Pumpkin Fest and the trick-or-treat events, the car shows have been a great success. The Downtown Development Authority has done a great job with making the downtown an appealing place to be. We have relatively new police and fire chiefs in the community, and they've done a great job. And the city's also developed a master plan, which I feel is a wonderful blueprint for future planning. From my perspective, it's pedestrian safety. We've had a hit and run incident this past month. My friend Randy is a crossing guard downtown. He's had a close call. And I've heard from others about near misses while walking across the street. I think it's important for the community to come together to find solutions to this issue. But most importantly, it's important for the community to better pay attention while driving where there's crossings.
I would spread the $2 million around in several places. The largest portion of the $2 million I would propose be used on phase 1 of the redevelopment of McCaddy Park. We already have the plans for it. It's ready to go. I think that would be an exciting place to first start. And out of that $2 million, I would spend $1.6 million. The balance of the money, $400,000, I would put in 3 different places. First of all, I would provide the necessary funds in order for the city to complete its tribute to the firefighters, the police, and also to the EMS. That's the first thing I would do. The next thing I would do is I would complete the project of the Roper Barn. I come from an agricultural background, so barns to me mean a lot, and I'd like to see that done in the historical village. The last portion of it I would spend in McCaddy Park, also in the pocket park right next to Heinemann Heating and Cooling. That park, once again, the plans are ready and everything is there. We can go ahead and do it. And while anybody who is listening, hopefully, I am hoping that somebody out there actually has $2 million that they would be willing to donate to the city. A lot of other cities have benefactors that step forward and assist with these special projects. So I'm hoping by tonight with this taping, somebody out there I will be able to reach that will be able to come forward and be a great benefactor for these projects, for the use and enjoyment of our residents in South Lyon. Thank you. I believe it's important to attract family-oriented businesses to South Lyon. Family-oriented businesses foster community building and bring families together, regardless of how you define what your family unit is. What's important is that your family unit gets to enjoy the great city that we have here in South Lyon. Family-oriented businesses attract a wide range of demographics. And what that does is that helps with foot traffic, and that also helps with local spending. For example, a family-oriented business that attracts a parent will also attract the children, the extended families, and of course those great-grandparents that we have here in the city of South Lyon. Family-oriented businesses can also provide a safer environment. Research has shown that when families frequent public spaces, that tends to deter unwanted behaviors and conduct. Family-oriented businesses promote growth. What they do is that if you want to move to South Lyon, you want to move to a community where you can enjoy your family at a family-oriented business. So family-oriented businesses, in my view, foster positive family values, also promote a safer environment, and help boost the local economy. South Lyon has done many things well over the past several years. First, the city is doing a great task of developing a budget and going with projected programs and completing tasks. The city is also doing a great job working with our department heads and planning for the future. Also, the city is finally beginning to deal with our aging roads and our aging infrastructure. So thank you to all the voters out there that passed that bond millage that we needed in order to move forward on this very critical component in the city. The city is also making an incredible commitment to economic vitality. How are we doing that? We're doing it through planning, and we're also keeping on our full-time economic development director. The city is also doing a great job at the delivery of city services. City services, yes, city runs our elections. The city takes care of our police, our fire. The city also mows our grass and takes care of our streets. Not to mention the incredible response the city made in this last summer when we had the straight line winds impact a very, very important part of our city. So the city works hard. The city council works hard. The city employees work harder. The city does a lot well. Well, first, I think one of the most pressing issues facing the city of South Lyon is dealing with the inflationary pressures that are coming into our budget season. It's unfortunate that we have the war in Israel and the Middle East. That is going to present some increased costs that we did not anticipate when we were planning the budget. That means petroleum, increases in products that we use. Additionally, we're also seeing a rise in consumer interest rates. So we as a city need to be able to take these macroeconomic events and not allow them to severely impact our budgeting process. The additional issue that we have facing the city is that our property taxes revenue has flatlined. Everybody knows there are no new sources of tax revenue for the city of South Lyon. So we need to be able to find other sources of revenue, like grants that we could get from state and federal agencies. We cannot continue to dip into our residents' pockets for money for projects that we could be able to find other resources for. So in my particular opinion, the most pressing issue for the city is to stay focused on conservative fiscal management, which is what I believe in, conservative fiscal management.
Yeah, so I think one of the primary kind of goals, of really city leadership, especially when receiving money, is to make sure there's activities, events, recreation, for the families and obviously the residents living in South Lyon. So some examples of things to do, would be like investing in the parks that we have, right? What we could do, maybe like ice rinks or lighted fields, pickleball courts, things that like people are doing and what's sort of important right now. I think that's really good use of those funds, especially myself raising a family here in the city and having those sorts of things to do is really important. Of course, having activities for seniors is super important too, and then really having transportation, for the seniors in the community to be able to partake in those activities as well. I think that's super important and be really good use of those funds. Yeah, so, kind of simply put, really the businesses that people want to patronize, right? And it seems like a really simple answer, but, I spent a lot of time getting to know people around the community and, talking to people door knocking and other small business owners. And really there's a huge appetite in the city to, stay local and shop and eat. And, some of the suggestions people throwing out, men's stores, like clothing shop doesn't really exist. That'd be great to have in town. Diversity in food options is definitely one that I've heard, a number of times, and I tend to agree with. I think every time something new opens up that we see the community really pull and they enjoy shopping and coming out and eating at those locations. And quite frankly, I think a lot of folks in town, we commute to work. Long commutes, you're on the road, you're dealing with construction nonstop to and from, and sometimes the last thing you want to do is have to hit the road again later in the day or on the weekends to go enjoy either a restaurant or a bar or go shopping. So I think people really want to stay local. They believe in shopping locally and supporting small business, and I do too. And I think that really being an attractive place for people to feel like it's a good investment is wildly important. Yeah, I think you can look to the events and the partnerships and the city hosting some of these really cool events. Call out like Carl and Joanna's, Christmas Spectacular. Christmas in July. We've got Pumpkin Fest. We've got Motor Fest. There's a lot of cool big events that the city's been able to attract and host and do a really great job with. So I think that's awesome, and would love to see the city really double down on that, right, and try and host more events throughout the summer. Another really big win in my eyes is the social district. Bringing that to South Lyon is cool. There's a lot of excitement around it. It was sort of late summer this year, it came to be, but you'll get a full season of it next year. There's probably some cool events to do with that in the wintertime. So I think the sidecar's wildly successful, in my opinion, really cool for I know the folks that I've talked to around town that are excited that exists, and I know that there could be some continued investment there too with creating some like outdoor games and some areas to have like some common grounds for people to congregate and enjoy some outdoor cocktails. Yeah, I think like many other places around the country, I've gotten to spend a lot of time meeting some small business owners around town, and one of the number one things I hear is really attracting and hiring and finding talent employees wise, right? And it's not a matter of unqualified individuals showing up. It's more there was a stack of applications a couple years ago, and then today there's zero, right? So there's not like a talent pool to draw from. So I think really getting people to think locally, come back, apply to the jobs, the small businesses that I think we need to attract, right? I also need employees to be able to run, and that's important to keep in mind as well. It's not only shopping local only and thinking locally, but this is some place that I can find a job too. And really parlaying that thought into the city itself and thinking about the city level, right? Police and fire, DPW, is there an opportunity for us to miss out of the ability to retain that talent, and is there a way to attract new talent to the city? It's kind of scary to think about from like a public works standpoint, right? Like there's highly qualified individuals and highly skilled skills needed to do some of these jobs, right? And is there a market, within South Lyon to do that? That's a big question mark. So I think that's a headwind that the city needs to face head on, and definitely not put that on the back burner.
Well, I tell you, what I would probably do is I'd take a look at that repaving of Pontiac Trail. That's forecast to require about $8.5 million. We have commitments for about $7 million right now, so it leaves about $1.5 million shortfall. I'd take the $2 million to use the unfunded portion and direct any remaining funds to the streetscape upgrade program to alleviate the burden on the taxpayers as a result of that. I think we need a wider variety of restaurant and retail establishments in the city. We've done a pretty good job over the last couple of years adding some new restaurants, but we have some additional needs, and I think we can do that, attract those businesses by continuing to show our business-friendly environment, also establish relationships with the potential business owners, so they know when a particular property is going to become available and they can capitalize on it, so that we can make those things happen. We need to also do something similar with developers, so they understand exactly what areas are available to be developed, what we're looking for, and when their clients come to them with a potential package, they know exactly where they can locate that package, and we'll be more than happy to help them do it. Well, the city has significantly improved its planning capabilities over the past 4 to 5 years. We've established a capital improvement planning process that helps us to better forecast the needs for purchasing and replacing equipment, as well as replacing infrastructure and addressing it. We've established a master plan for the parks and the trailways that allows us to capitalize on grants as they become available for both maintenance and expansion. We've done a great job, I think, as far as establishing plans for both the South Lyon Fire Department and the South Lyon Police Department, so that we make sure that they've got the equipment and the personnel that they need, as well as the funding that they need to adequately operate the departments. And we've also put in place a succession planning process to allow for the upcoming retirements. We've developed plans to provide and support for the senior population as well. So we've provided additional funding and for the budget for the senior center so they can expand and enhance their programs. We've also just recently expanded the People's Express program so that they have additional service area that they can take advantage of. And we've developed plans for the expansion and enhancement of the city's cemetery. We're going to add some new facilities over there as well, a pavilion and a columbarium as well. So the future planning in the city has improved significantly over the past 4 to 5 years. Well, the most pressing issue still remains addressing the infrastructure that we have in the city. As I mentioned before, that repaving of Pontiac Trail, as well as the subsurface drain and sewer pipes that are down there that need to be replaced, we need to do an effective plan for that project so that we minimize the disruption to the businesses as well as the residents, because we certainly don't want to lose any businesses while we're going through that because customers can't get in the doors. So that's one of the first areas I think we need to focus on. We also need to look at installing the missing sidewalk sections throughout the city in order to make this a far more walkable city so that people can get around. And related to that, we need to expand and enhance some of the pedestrian crossings that we have in order to make it safe for the pedestrians to be able to walk through the city. And then finally, we need to make sure that all of those areas are in compliance with the Americans with Disability Act so that everybody in the city can enjoy everything the city has to offer. So, as I've said, much has been accomplished over the past few years. We have much more to do. I'm proud of what we've accomplished as a city, what I've accomplished personally for the residents and the businesses, and I'm asking for your support and your vote so together we can continue moving the city forward in the coming years. Thank you.